Howdy, y'all. This is Clay.
And I'm Lloyd.
And this is Iron Sharpening Iron with the Kaler Boys, coming to you from our brand new studio. Hope you guys like it as much as we do.
Live. It's Saturday night.
There you go. Well, it's Thursday morning, but still.
I know. Hey, we're just as authentic. Did you hear that they actually have debunked that a lot of those live Saturday nights were not live?
Yeah.
So, but you know,
pre-recorded.
Yeah.
But we're pre-recorded, so I'm not going to hate on them too much.
No. And I'll tell you what, dude, Saturday night used to be.
Oh, it used to be. It
thing.
used to be, man.
I
Dan Aykroyd and
our whole family watched it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I remember Lee T just literally hold his belly.
Oh, yeah.
Silly people.
Man,
Rosanna Nana.
Yeah. You think of Jane Curtin.
Jane Curtin was hilarious, dude.
They
just Chevy
Chase, yeah.
Dan Aykroyd,
Bill Murray. I mean, that was genius back then.
Oh man,
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Yeah, and now it's just I don't know. Everything comes out of TV now. It's so political.
Yeah,
so politically motivated.
And even if it's not, it's still not funny.
No,
that's the sad part about it.
I have got one of my Did You Know?
Oh yeah,
and I wasn't going to do it yet, but because we're talking about this, it's going to segue right into this.
Well, let's throw this out there. Today is October 14th, 2024. Go with your Did You Know?
October 14th.
November 14th.
You said October.
No, we'll roll back to tape.
Roll back to tape.
Yeah.
Throw the replay flag. We need a replay.
It is November the 14th, 2024.
I have got an idea for a TV show. Now, this would be pure entertainment. This is actual. This really goes on.
Okay.
It's called Extreme Ironing.
Oh, good Lord.
That didn't say extreme ironing.
Right.
Like our news media might be. Ironing, like pressing your clothes.
There are ironing competitions, is what you're telling me.
And look here. If you want to combine, I copied this down so I would get this right.
Okay.
If you want to combine your love of cleaning with something more extreme, then this is the world for you. The sport for you has been found. It was founded in 1997.
Oh,
and it
Lord.
is not for the faint of heart. You have to press shirts in unexpected locations.
Oh, my goodness.
Here we go, brother.
It's ridiculous.
High up in trees.
Oh, Lord.
I want to see this. I would pay to go see this.
You want to see Alice from the Brady Bunch in the top of a tree trying to iron one of Mr. Brady's shirts.
I want to see anybody up in the top of the tree. Here's another one. Hanging over cliffs. This is the best one yet.
That would be extreme.
This is the best one yet. Paddling whitewater rapids.
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
This is a sport. I am not kidding. This is an actual sport, and I want to see that on TV.
I don't.
You don't think that would be entertaining?
No, I don't. No, I think there's a lot of things that'd be more entertaining than that. Oh, Lord. Let's do scripture of the day.
All right.
And then we got a lot to get into. Our president-elect has been very busy the last week. Paul is writing to the Corinthians in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, and he's warning about false teachers. And listen to what he says here. He's come in.
Hello?
What time do you say? 6:30 or 7:30?
7:30. You're live on the podcast. Say hi to everybody on the podcast, Leslie.
Hello.
Hey, what up, Spider?
What's up? I'm sorry, I didn't know y'all were filming, and I should have texted you.
That's all right.
7:30?
7:30.
7:30. All right.
7:30.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry, I'll let you go.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, girl.
Love you. Bye.
All right. If anybody didn't know, that was the youngest daughter.
Right.
We are going to eat dinner with them tonight.
Oh, good. Good.
Her young man, Mr. Cutter.
Yeah.
He is advanced again into the sheriff's department. Yes,
really?
And
he may have found his niche.
I know, and I want to make sure that you know that I support the boy. If he's doing right, he's doing right.
Right.
If he's doing wrong, I will sure enough say it.
Oh, you'll be all over him.
And I'd be the first one to say it. And don't care about your feelings. I just don't.
Right.
So with that, if he's doing right, you ought to say it too. You know,
True enough.
If he's doing something positive and affects my daughter in a positive way, I'm going to say something to him.
True.
Just as fast as I'm going to say something negative. So we're going to go eat with them tonight.
Well, good.
The local Genovi's here. I'm so stuck on that place.
That
Italian place.
I know it, man.
God, I can't get enough of it.
Well, it's good stuff.
Good food.
And good people.
Good people. Yes.
All right. So Paul's talking about false teachers. and false doctrine. And he says this, starting in verse 12. He says, "But what I do, I will also continue to do, that I may cut off the opportunity from those who desire an opportunity to be regarded just as we are in the things of which they boast." So Paul's saying, these people are showing up saying, "Hey, I'm an apostle just like Paul."
Right.
And he goes on, he says, "For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing for his ministers also to transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works." It's what's interesting about this is he uses that illustration. You know, Lucifer, the name Lucifer means bright and morning star.
Right.
Before his fall, before his dissension, Satan, Lucifer, was the chief angel, and he was the most glorious of the angels. And then, of course, he rebelled, thought he was going to take over the kingdom.
Above.
Yeah, and it's interesting what Paul says here. He says, Satan transforms himself into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing for his ministers.
Right.
And what I take from that is these false teachers are servants of Satan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're preaching something besides that real word of God.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely serving the underworld.
Yeah. Before
for
this,
lack of a better term.
Before this, he said, if anybody preaches any other Jesus to you than the one that you know, if they preach any other word,
boy,
than
you know what comes
you
to mind? You know what comes to mind immediately?
Mormonism.
Well, no, that's not what comes to my mind.
Yeah.
First off, what comes to my mind is these two people sitting on the stage and saying, "There's more than one way to Jesus."
Oh, yeah.
And one of them was Oprah Winfrey, and the other one was Joel Osteen.
I know.
Sitting on the same stage saying, "You got to find your own path."
Yep.
And that's not what the Word of God says.
That is not what the Word of God says.
As a matter of fact, lines it out pretty
Jesus
exact.
said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life."
There's not much gray area in that.
No.
There's no interpretation in that. There's absolute.
There's one gospel. There's one Savior. There's one God. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus said, "Narrow is the way."
Yes, and if you choose other gods, it's not the right one. It tells us real quick in the Ten Commandments about other gods before me. So there are other things you can worship, just not the right God.
Yeah. Well, and there's this saying, I'm sure you've heard it, all roads that lead to God are good roads. Well, I agree with that. Considering there's only one road that leads to God.
Right.
I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. The rest of them are leading straight to destruction.
And now there's a lot of journeys that are wrong journeys that end up on the right path.
Yeah, absolutely.
And mine was one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine was absolutely one of them. So was yours.
I think every believer can say that.
Yes.
I think every believer can say that.
Most every.
Yeah.
Most every. You know, I went to church with this lady, and I think I've discussed this on the podcast once before. But we were all sitting around, and we had started this new group, and it was a bunch of adults.
Yeah.
And we were actually going to start a ministry when we were giving away, doing the feed over there every month.
Yeah.
Until the
city shut you down.
Told us we couldn't feed people.
Yeah.
Boy, that's just nice. And we could with a big hefty fine and then close the place down.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were sitting around and this wasn't really like a planned thing, but people started talking about their testimony and how they found Christ.
Yeah.
And we kind of went around the room and everybody kind of had something to say. And some of them were some horrific stories.
Sure.
Some really tragic stuff happened to some of these people. And we got around to this one girl and she's like, "I feel out of place." And we were like, "Well, why?" And she's like just a wonderful human being.
Right.
And we're like, "Why?" She says, "I don't have a story." Well, surely you do.
Yeah.
Everybody, you didn't appear today. You didn't just show up. You didn't just go, and there you was.
Right.
You have a story. And she said, "Well, I don't." She said, "You went through this and you went through this and with Christ you overcame this. And a lot of y'all seem like you was at the bottom of the barrel. And then all of a sudden you rose from the ashes kind of story." And she said, "I've been in church my whole life." She said, "I waited till I got married to have sex." She said, "I've never had a beer or any alcohol. I've never smoked anything." And she's like, she went on about all this stuff that she has not done. And
that is your story.
Wow, what a testimony you have.
That is your story.
How powerful is that in this day and time you were able, through Christ
Yeah.
to stay away from all of those things.
Right.
That we as a group failed miserably.
Which is the goal of every parent.
Yes.
To keep your children safe from that crap.
We all failed miserably at what you stepped through.
Yeah.
I said,
Absolutely.
She was, you do have a story. She had a whole different outlook on what her testimony was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what a tremendous
And rightly
story.
so.
Yeah.
So this last week, DJT, Donald John Trump, has been very busy.
Yes.
I've got a list here of appointments and nominations so far.
All right.
And I think we ought to go through these.
Let's talk about
The
it.
very first one was already history making. White House Chief of Staff is going to be Susie Wiles.
No, wait a minute.
Oh,
That's not right.
no?
That's fake information.
Is it?
That has to be.
Because he hates strong women.
I voted for a misogynistic
That's right.
president.
That's right.
He's already breaking my promises. I'm really
telling you.
just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. But you know what? That's
Mark Cuban says he can't stand strong women.
yeah. He's misogynistic, and he can't do. There's no way he would do that.
Right.
No way.
So she will be the first female chief of staff in the history of the White House.
Outstanding.
And
I
by the
think
way,
she's good for this job.
And he did not appoint her because she's a female.
No. He appointed her because she's going to
Because she's talented.
She is going to be good at this job.
She has been his campaign manager at least 2, if not all 3 of his runs.
Right. I think all 3. She's been with him for a couple decades there.
She's strong. She's smart. Everyone talks about her. I don't know anything about her.
I don't know her either.
Other than what I've heard other people
and
say.
what I'm hearing, I'm not hearing anybody say anything negative about
But
her.
here's what
Even on CNN.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing negative things. No,
They can't.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman.
And it's not there. It's not there.
I want to point out the difference here. Joe Biden, when he was nominated to run for president in 2020, made the announcement that he was going to select a woman of color for his vice president.
Right.
That was the criteria.
And that was it.
The criteria was you got to be a woman of color.
That's the same party that can't tell us what a woman is.
Right.
I digress.
True enough.
Yeah.
And we wound up with Kamala Harris.
Well, it's a DEI hire.
Yeah.
And we saw the results.
The difference is Donald Trump didn't look at the fact that she was a woman when he hired her. He hired her because she's competent.
Qualification.
Yeah. The next one, this one I like too. National Security Advisor. Florida Representative Michael Waltz. He is a retired 20-year Green Beret officer.
Yes. I did a little looking at him.
Multiple combat deployments.
Did a little looking at him. He's going to be good at this job.
This dude's a bad dude.
He's a bad dude.
This guy's a bad dude.
Boy, hurry and get down to the border security.
Oh, we're getting there.
Relax. Get to him so bad. I can't wait.
Slow down. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. This is interesting to me.
There's been controversy about him before.
Yeah. Well, back in 2016, he ran for president against Donald Trump, for the nomination.
Yeah.
And they kind of went after each other. You remember Donald Trump came up with a nickname, Little Marco, for him. And now he's going to be nominated as Secretary of State. Now, having said that, Marco is a really smart dude. I think he's going to be good in that role.
I do too. Time will tell. Time will tell all these, but
this one shocked a lot of people. And it's because they don't know his background. Okay. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. I like this appointment. Well, nomination. I like this nomination. I'll tell you why. So where people know Pete Hegseth from is he is a weekend anchor on Fox News. And
that's all I'll be real honest with you. I don't know much about this guy, not at all.
Yeah.
At all. And I didn't do proper research last night in preparation for today.
Well, because you didn't know I was going to bring this up.
No, well, I would have. This is kind of the stuff that we would have talked about.
Yeah.
And I would have, but there's a reason why. And we'll get into that.
Okay. All right. So Pete Hegseth, 20-year veteran of the United States Army. He was an officer. He made major. Multiple combat deployments, 2 Bronze Stars. I mean, you can't sneeze at his military career. He's not Tim Walz. He's actually done the job.
Yes.
Now, here's why I like this appointment for 2 reasons. Number one, Pete Hegseth has degrees from both Princeton and Harvard. He's a smart dude. And I heard one of Donald Trump's surrogates when they were questioned about Pete Hegseth, why him? And the answer was because he's not a general. Donald Trump doesn't trust the generals.
I don't. Yeah, well,
can you blame him?
No, I can't.
General Milley, who was his chief of staff, or not chief of staff, he was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Went behind his back and was talking to the enemy.
Yeah,
behind his back. They were having secret meetings on how to stop Donald Trump from implementing his agenda.
They had a secret meeting in the Senate.
I know. I know. We'll get to that too. Here's another. This one. I'm jumping way ahead. All right. Attorney General Matt Gaetz.
I think I like that. I am a Matt Gaetz fan. I'm a Matt Gaetz fan.
Sometimes.
I like Matt Gaetz.
Sometimes. He's done a lot I don't care for. He's loud. He's obnoxious.
I kind of like that about him.
He's currently under investigation himself for potential human trafficking.
No, really? I did not know that.
Yeah, by the Justice Department, which he will be in charge of.
But look at the Justice
Department. I know.
I'm sorry.
What do you believe?
I have zero trust, even with Trump being our president now.
Yeah.
My trust for the government didn't all of a sudden go,
no, I agree.
He is not my savior. I've wore the shirt before. Trump's my president, but Jesus is my savior.
That's right.
I still am just, what can you trust from the Department of Justice?
Right. Yeah.
They threw a 78-year-old grandma in prison for praying outside of an abortion clinic.
Yeah. Agreed.
But somebody else, Bowman, can pull the fire alarm and disrupt Congress. It's a felony, and he has to pay a $50 fine.
Good news is he lost his re-election campaign.
So what?
Well, it's something.
It's something. You're right. It's something. But
I know.
So the hand of justice in that whole department is just iffy at best.
And let me say this. All right. Some of these I have questions about, but I'm not by any means saying I don't agree.
Right.
Here's the thing. Donald Trump not only won the election, but he won the election by a landslide.
He won
popular vote. The Electoral College with a mandate, which means he can pretty much do what he wants to do.
You know what I would really,
and I trust him.
I would really like to see in our government is I would like to see voter ID laws completely across the nation, because there's 3 maps that are telltale about this whole election.
I know.
3 of them. One, you see all the states that are blue or red.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a map and overlay it of all the states that do not require any voter ID.
Yeah.
And those are blue.
Imagine that.
All of the states, every single one of the states, Clay, that require ID is a red state.
Yes.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
And then the third map that was just telling of this whole election is CNN put it up, and then they tried to take it down real quick. And it's about all the counties, not states.
Yes, counties
that
where Kamala outperformed Joe Biden.
And none.
Yeah, it
not
was just
one.
Great. That was so funny.
One, and they were like,
Jake Tapper.
There's nothing there.
Jake Tapper, he just peed right down his
leg. He was trying to click on the button really quick.
Stuff.
That was good. But that told the tale.
Yeah.
But that
So let's talk about voter ID before we go on to this list. There's a problem. I agree with you 100%, but there's a problem. The Constitution of the United States says that voting belongs to the states. It's the state's responsibility for voting. The Democrats after 2020 or after 2016 tried, if you remember, they tried to pass a voter rights act that was going to just remove everything. They were going to just strip the voter IDs from the states and all that stuff, and they weren't allowed to do it because it violates the Constitution. Well, we can't do it either,
right?
Because it violates the Constitution, unless we create an amendment to the Constitution, which is going to require 60% of the Senate. We're not going to get in order to make a constitutional amendment that requires voter ID.
True.
So,
or them states turn blue enough.
yeah,
Or red enough. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, red enough that we actually change the laws in those states.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what we could hope for.
Here's another nomination that confuses me.
All right.
Secretary of Homeland Security, Governor Kristi Noem from South Dakota. I like Kristi Noem. She's been Kristi. You'll remember her. She's the one that got into some hot water because she talked about having to put a dog down because it was mean.
Oh yeah. I remember her.
Yeah. She's also.
Unfortunately, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's a real thing.
The fact is, the dog attacked livestock. The dog attacked people. She put the dog down, and the
sad.
liberals lost their ever-loving mind.
But it's okay to shoot up beagles with cocaine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll have to get to that too.
Yeah, it's okay to do that. That's fine. They weren't even mean beagles either.
No.
They described them as puppies.
It's also okay to rip a child out of the womb in pieces. So
you know how many? Man, look here. How many people do you think are in the state of Texas? Give me a guess.
11.
11 people. You're way off.
I don't know.
Over 30 million.
Okay.
How many do you think is in California? More, a little more.
Yeah.
It was like 30.9 million.
Okay.
So 61 million for the states combined.
Yeah.
Do you know that the United States has killed more babies than the population of California and Texas combined?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
63 million babies.
Just amazing.
63.
Just the wholesale slaughter.
Number one killer
Yeah.
of humanity is abortion.
Yeah.
Number one.
Did you see that video?
Hands down, number one.
Did you see that video that I sent you of the doctor who was an abortion doctor?
Yes.
And he is talking.
1200 guy. The 1200 guy. Yes.
Yeah.
That made me cry, Clay.
Oh, I know it. I know it.
I cried like a girl.
I know
I'm supposed to be on security and be like some kind of maybe formidable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm out there with the tissues, man. I cried like a girl. I couldn't
you had
even
to pull
watch
Whataburger napkins out of your console.
I did.
This doctor, you can see he's broken in this video. And he's talking about the fact that over the course of his life, he has killed 1,200 babies as an abortionist. And he said that. He said, I have killed 1,200 children. He says, how do you make up for that? He says, you don't.
You don't.
But you save as many as you can.
That's it.
And
then he also said that out of those 1,200, two of them were where the mother was at risk.
Yeah.
Where it was a medical thing.
Yeah. And he said there was I forget the exact number, but only a very small percentage were rape or incest.
Right.
The rest of them were convenience.
Birth control.
Yeah.
And they call it health care. It makes me so sick.
I agree. All right, this one's fun. This one just made me grin from ear to ear. This just came down yesterday. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
I know it, dude.
Tulsi Gabbard.
I seen that one last night, and I was like, all right. I had myself on a limited diet of this stuff.
Yeah. Now, let me say this. Former presidential candidate, the former representative for the state of Hawaii, and Lieutenant Colonel Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
All right. Now, let me tell you a little something about Tulsi Gabbard. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Our buddy Gonzo is competing this weekend in the tactical games, the World's Champion, the World Championship.
I know he's been involved in this pretty heavy.
So he's competing in the World Championship this weekend for the tactical games.
Okay.
Tulsi Gabbard's competing as well.
That's pretty awesome.
He may have a chance to meet Tulsi Gabbard.
Dude,
I'm telling you,
I
man.
would love to meet her.
Oh,
I'd love to meet her, shake her hand, and buy her a medal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
What an American hero she is.
What a transformation. She was a Democrat nominee for President of the United States. By the way, she destroyed Kamala Harris.
But she was a patriot first.
Yes. She used to be anti-gun. Now she's competing in the tactical game.
I know.
This woman has had just a complete come to Jesus moment.
That's it.
Yeah. And to announce, right before the election that she's joining the Republican Party and she's going to be the director of national intelligence. That's phenomenal.
That's pretty awesome.
Here's another one I really like. The director of CIA, John Ratcliffe. I like this one. John Ratcliffe was
I kind of wanted to see RFK as the CIA.
Really? I don't know about that, man.
Well, just as a poetic.
Yeah, a little poke in the eye.
Just yeah.
John Ratcliffe, he's been one who has been at Trump's side since 2016. This guy's he's a stalwart. He is somebody that Donald Trump has depended on.
Solid.
This is another one that I like. The EPA, former representative, he ran for governor of New York, Lee Zeldin. I like Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin, when he was running for New York, some guy came up on the stage with this little knife that goes between the fingers and tried to kill him, and Lee Zeldin wrestled this dude down.
There you go.
You know, so that's pretty good. This one again just made me grin from ear to ear. Ambassador to Israel, former Governor Mike Huckabee. I like Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee has been to Israel numerous times.
He's an outspoken Christian, and he loves the Israel people, and the Israel people love him.
Yeah. Do you know what
this is going to be a match made in
You know what he did before he was governor of Arkansas?
I do not.
He was a Southern Baptist pastor.
See, I knew he was big evangelical.
Yeah.
And just he shines the light of Christ, man, everywhere he goes. He does it intentionally.
Right.
He doesn't make any apologies for it at all.
No,
and
not at all.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that
he ran for president in 2016 as well. He's so even keeled. He's just a calming force. Israel to the United Nations, Elise Stefanik.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do. She is a representative from New York as well, and she's kind of a more polished Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay, all right.
She's the one that just beat down the presidents of those universities when.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I know you're
that's
talking
who
about
she is.
All right, yeah. She's a tough nut.
Can you imagine her at the UN?
She's a tough nut, man.
I'll tell you what, dude. I think we need to withdraw from the UN and evict them off of our soil.
I do too.
Get rid of them.
I do too. What are they here for? What they were here for is when Russia was Russia.
Post World War II.
Yes, and
it was a good idea.
It's just like so many agencies that we have,
yeah.
we fund, and we pay for they're outdated, they're done. They're just done. Nobody's buying cassettes anymore.
I know.
You got to move on, and we don't need them anymore. They're cassettes. They're
exactly,
and they need to move on. And Vivek Swami Mommy, I can't never say his name.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
There we go. Vivek Swami Mommy. Him and Elon Musk is going to do.
That's on my list.
All right. I'm excited about.
Now we're going to get to the one you want to talk about.
There we go, my man.
Borders are Tom Holman. He was a former acting director of Immigration and Customs, ICE, and this dude's a bad dude.
He's no nonsense.
Yeah,
that's what I like about him. And he doesn't care if he makes you upset.
Yeah, he's unapologetic.
He just don't care. I mean, his opening speech, he said, "I only have 5 minutes, so if I piss you off, I'm sorry."
And that was it. I love the interview. The CNN interviewer, this liberal pasty-faced female, says, "Is it possible to deport people without separating families?" And he said, "Of course it is. You deport the whole family."
I've been a fan of his when AOC tried to grill him over the border.
Yeah,
this has been a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And
seeking asylum is not against the law.
And then
if you want to seek asylum, he quotes the law.
And then he says, "Go through the porch entrance where it's done.
Do it legally.
That's it. Do it right. Do it legally."
And he's just deadpan.
Yeah,
he doesn't get excited.
And then the chair of whatever her name, she was like trying to get on to him because he was going over his time. Mr. Holman, he said, "Look, you work for me. I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
I pay your salary."
And boy, I'll tell you what, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'd follow that man anywhere.
Now, I heard an interview with him after the appointment. Okay, and this you're going to like this. He said as soon as Donald Trump named Kristi Noem as his nominee, he said, "I've been on the phone with Governor Noem, and here's what I told her. I told her that you have a very important job, as the Secretary of Homeland Security, you need to get the Secret Service lined out. Let me handle border and immigration. I'll take that off your plate. You don't have to worry about that. You focus on the Secret Service.
He's competent. He's
Yeah.
competent to do it.
Yeah, he
can
is.
absolutely handle it. And see, it's a work together thing that we're going to get out of this administration.
Oh, I know.
Too.
I know.
It's not going to be the, well, I see what you're doing. Let me see what I can do to sabotage.
Yeah, exactly.
God, I just don't get that.
Well, and that's one of the things about this whole list. None of these are deep state actors. Not one of them.
That's where his mistake was the first presidency.
Yeah.
Is he allowed
he trusted
people
easily.
in Washington. Yep.
Yeah.
He trusted too many bureaucrats in Washington to help him appoint the people because he wasn't a politician.
Yeah.
And now he's done his homework.
Yeah.
And Trump is a very smart man. You don't believe me? Let's just look at his assets, what he's done in his life.
Well,
and then you hear this argument all the time. Well, they say, well, it's because he got given $4 million. He turned $4 million into
multi-billion.
And well, didn't he fail a couple companies? Well, yeah. Did you succeed in everything you've ever done? I believe the first time you walked, you fell.
Yeah.
I believe the first time you rode your bike, you fell.
Right.
I believe there's a lot of things you did.
You've had a couple of skin knees in your life.
Yes, and you failed and you got back up and you kept moving.
That's right.
And the mark of a good businessman is, what's he done now? What is he?
Yeah.
Look at what the businesses, the people's lives he's changed.
Absolutely, man.
And he's going to treat our government like he did the first time. Much the same way.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, you got to fix it.
That's it.
And if it does work, you leave it alone.
Some of this
I know.
Man, I can't wait.
Here you go. You ready for this?
Yes.
The Department of Government Efficiency.
Oh.
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Have you heard the backlash about this whole department?
Oh, yeah.
It is insane. But you know why? Because you're coming after my gravy.
Yeah.
You're going to take my gravy from me. And I see it coming. I know my department is useless. It has been. We play Pokemon at our desk.
Yeah.
For all day long.
And make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Make big six-figure salaries with all kinds of insurance and benefits.
Yeah.
And that gravy's fixing to come to an end.
Elon has already said that he believes that he is going to be able to trim the federal government's budget by $2 trillion.
Yes.
That's more money than you can imagine.
Ramaswamy said that in a just estimate, 75% of the government is not needed.
Oh, wow.
70%.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this before. You got redundant positions. You got redundant departments.
The departments.
You've got departments that don't even matter.
We were just listening to something before the podcast about all this waste. We spend billions.
Yeah, Rand Paul is talking about.
Well, in the first one, Candace Owens talking about we spend billions on like 10,000 empty buildings.
Yeah.
We spend billions on maintaining those
empty buildings. Yeah. Imagine that.
I was a facility manager for a while.
Yeah.
An empty building is hard
to maintain. Yeah.
When COVID hit us, we had more problems in that short time that we dealt with COVID.
Isn't that
because
amazing?
The building sat empty. Nobody flushed toilets.
Right.
Nobody ran water.
Yeah.
Nobody turned on ACs.
Yeah.
Nobody ran heat.
And it all starts to degrade so quickly.
I replaced probably 2 flushers in the toilets.
Yeah.
2.
Just because they
during my course of being a facilities manager.
Yeah.
After we shut down for that long period of COVID, I replaced 3 dozen. When we came back into operation, 3 dozen at least.
Just because they sat there and dry rotted.
Yes. And then they were hard to get because if you remember we had the whole import thing was a mess.
Yeah.
And so stuff was hard to get.
Isn't that crazy?
And it was nuts. But yeah, maintaining one empty building is more expensive than running it.
Yeah.
It cost, my maintenance budget tripled.
Wow.
Because we were shut down.
Yeah.
That was the reason.
Wild.
It was wild.
It's wild. that is the second law of thermodynamics is the law of entropy. And the law of entropy says that everything breaks down.
Yes.
Things break down, as you're saying, way quicker when they're not being used in the way that they're supposed to be used.
You take a brand new pickup.
Yeah. Just
brand new pickup. Park it in your garage. Cover it completely.
Yeah.
And park it in your garage. Buy an identical brand new pickup. Crank it up and take off. In 5 years, you still be driving your second brand new
Yeah.
pickup. Then you go in there and crank that first brand new pickup, and every seal and
Yep.
it'll all be leaked. All your gaskets are going to
Mhm.
leak. All your seals
Yep.
are going to leak. Your gas is going to everything.
Yeah.
Everything about that truck. You know, but well, you could drain your fluids. You could do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Once again, you're maintaining an empty, useless
Yep.
something.
Yep.
And it costs more.
Yeah.
It wears out quicker not using it than
Yeah.
it does using it.
And so we're spending billions with a B
Billions with a
to
B.
maintain these empty buildings.
Let's explain, just in case people have forgot, how much is $1 billion?
It's 1,000 million.
But actually, that don't even make sense to little old mind like
Oh, I
mine.
know. I know.
If I was going to hand you $1 every second, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every second, I'd give you $1.
Uh-huh.
It's going to take me 37 years to give you $1 billion.
There you go.
It takes 11 months to give you $1 million.
Wow.
That's the difference between
Yeah.
$1 billion and $1 million.
Yeah.
11 months. That's millions.
So what's a trillion?
Oh, I don't even want to try to figure that out. I don't even want to try to figure that out. But
Yeah.
and I didn't figure this out. I looked it up. I put it into Google. Yeah, 37 years.
That's amazing.
That's a huge. People don't understand. Well, you know, that's 22 million, and then say, well, this is only 2.2 billion, and you don't really understand the difference
Right.
in a
Right.
million and $1 billion.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. That's insane. So Government Accountability Office. This is going to be fun.
I can't wait.
Oh, I know
I
it.
am
I
so
know it.
excited about this.
And have you heard some of the liberal news media losing their mind over this? They're talking about all these poor government workers that are going to be out of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me tell you what, it is not my responsibility as a taxpayer to keep these people gainfully employed if they're not doing anything.
It is not y'all's responsibility to keep me and him employed.
No.
It's my job to get a job.
And to keep it.
And keep it.
Yeah.
And if my job, if it ended tomorrow, the company went out of business or whatever, it ended tomorrow. It's not. Nobody's going to sit on CNN and say that poor guy that was working out in that parking lot.
That's
man,
right.
What are we going to do about him? Won't even care.
No.
It's going to still be my responsibility. Just because you've been sucking off the fat cat for so long doesn't mean that it's okay.
Well, it's that entitlement, man.
I know.
They've earned it. They deserve it.
There was a big, huge thing. One of the things they've talked about is since COVID, which we've been over COVID for a while.
Yeah.
You think. But even so, there's still government buildings that are 20 and 30% occupied during the week. Everybody else is working from home.
Isn't that something?
Sitting up in their underwear, collecting our taxpayer dollars that we're forced to pay.
Right.
If you don't pay them, guys with guns will come to your house and collect you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And I can't wait for that part of it, man. All the billions and billions.
I know it, man.
You know, our homeless problem ought to end.
Yes.
Our Medicaid problem ought to end.
Yeah.
All these billions, $2 trillion.
Social Security's broke.
Everything is broke.
By the time you and I hit the age where we can collect
Yeah.
Social Security, it's not going to be there.
Not going to be there.
But maybe it will be now.
Maybe now.
You know?
Because you cut the budget $2 trillion. That, I mean, I don't know which politician it was, but he said straight out, if we can afford to send another country
Yeah.
$200 billion
Right.
for their defense,
Yeah.
we're overtaxing our citizens.
Absolutely.
We're
Absolutely.
overtaxing our citizens. And you know what, though?
Lord,
we can't afford to send it because our citizens are still suffering on the street.
And look at the deficit.
North Carolina
It's
people
all
got,
borrowed money.
Yes. North Carolina people got $750 loan.
Yeah. By the way, they fired that woman.
The one that said,
Yep.
I
They
saw
finally
that.
fired her.
I saw
Yep.
it. Not enough.
No, it's not.
That's
No, it's
criminal.
not. And they put her name out there.
I did see that too.
Yeah.
I did see they put her name out there.
Yeah.
It's criminal.
It is.
And you know what else is criminal? It's the people that went along with her.
But now let's define what we're talking about. Some people may not know.
All right.
In Florida, there was a FEMA employee supervisor who told her people, actually in a text message, it turns out, to skip all the houses that, quote, advertise for Donald Trump.
Yes.
So if you had a Trump flag or a Trump sign in your yard,
You didn't get federal relief.
get federal assistance.
You may be in
during a
that house-
hurricane.
You may be in that house needing medical attention,
That
food or
people
water
may have died
because of that. And that's criminal.
We don't know.
But
I'm not saying that happened,
right.
but it's possible.
But or they could be, I don't know, maybe they're injured and you could have helped them sooner and they suffer a longer more
Yeah,
lasting injury
yeah.
because of your negligence.
Yeah.
That's negligence. And man,
You know something
you're
I've
being
discovered?
paid by these people that you're skipping are the ones paying your salary.
You know something I've discovered? The older I get, the less funny those commercials are. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
They're not funny anymore.
Yeah.
When we were kids, they were hilarious.
Yeah. Now they're
not so funny anymore.
because they're too close to home.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, man.
They're too close to home.
Oh, man. So much going on. I'll tell you, we really need to be focused in our prayer life for this fella until, well, perpetuity.
Yes,
but especially until the, something else I want to talk about.
Okay.
A week before the election, Joe Biden said that the only garbage he sees are Donald Trump supporters. A week before the election, Joe Biden was saying that Donald Trump is a Nazi and a danger to the democracy. A week before the election, Donald Trump was the greatest villain that ever existed. He was worse than Hitler.
Yep.
A week before the election, if Donald Trump is elected, our country is ended as we know it. Yesterday, or was it yesterday or day before? Day before yesterday. Joe Biden sat down with Donald Trump with a big old grin on his face and said, "Congratulations, Donald. Welcome back."
Yeah, shook his hand.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If he is a threat to democracy and the end of our country as we know it, and worse than Hitler, why are you congratulating him on his win?
I know. Well, it's typical Democrat.
I know, man.
It's typical flip-flop.
It's
It doesn't
all
matter.
crap.
I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say for the time that I'm going to say it.
Yeah, to get what I want.
Or appease who I'm speaking to.
Yeah.
And I have that Southern accent when I'm talking down here.
What's one thing, Hillary Clinton, that you always keep in your purse? Hot sauce. Oh,
Lord. So fake, man. Everything they do is so fake. But you know what, man? The American people saw it.
Saw right through it.
Saw
right through it.
But what was their biggest... I continue to go back to this issue on this podcast, and I probably continue forever.
Yep.
Their biggest pushing point was women's rights.
Yeah. Reproductive health care. First of all, there's nothing reproductive about abortion. It's
now,
the
when
exact
you eliminate,
opposite.
It's
You're
the opposite.
exact opposite.
Reproduce is to make another.
Yeah.
Or more of.
Do you remember the old mimeograph machines when we were in school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the copy machine. And as soon as it came out, you had to smell it. There's a bunch of people watching this that has no idea what we're talking about, and the rest of them are grinning from ear to ear.
Yep. Now, and you're grinning, you're aging yourself.
That's reproduction.
Yeah.
You're reproducing this document.
If you walk in with two, and then you walk out, there's only one, that's called elimination.
Yes, that is exactly right.
That's elimination.
That's exactly right.
And then the healthcare, I was talking to this kid the other day. I say kid, he's 20-some years old.
That's a kid.
He's he's studying to be he's in the healthcare industry there.
Okay.
And we were talking about this issue.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, "So do you think it's healthcare?" And he laughed and he said, No. He said, "No, healthcare means somebody's getting better."
Right.
He said, everything I've learned so far. He said, "I'm not done with school." He's only got a year left though, but everything I've learned so far is healthcare is to improve one's health.
Yeah.
Whoever is your patient, you're trying to improve their health.
Yeah.
He said, if you purposely end their life, he said, "Hey, I can't call that healthcare. They call that killing."
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly
yes,
it.
they do.
And going back to that doctor, he said, "In my career, I killed 1,200 babies." That's what he said.
God, I can't imagine the weight that man.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I hope and pray that he has come to Christ.
Oh, I believe he has.
I do too. I do too.
I believe he has. And Father in heaven, I ask you to touch that man right now, God. I lift him up and ask you to touch him, God. In the name of Christ, give him peace and absolutely show him that there is a path.
Amen.
In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
And the fact is that he's dedicated himself to eradicating abortion. That's
I know. That's the absolute turnaround. He had an eye-opening come to Jesus and realized what he was doing. And to do it all for the new Porsche, the new boat.
Yeah. The summer house and all
So
that.
sickening, man. It's just I don't know.
I wonder, just kind of a morbid curiosity. I wonder what 1,200 babies is worth.
I don't know.
Somebody's doing something outside. Sounds like somebody beating on your truck out there.
I got good insurance, and it's got a lot of miles.
Yeah,
So
sure enough.
maybe it's the construction hands across the street and they keep backing that skid load real good.
Well, hopefully they got good insurance.
Well, if they do good enough, they'll hit mine and yours.
Yeah, sure enough.
Because I just parked in your driveway sideways.
Oh, there you go. I left you room.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
It's
You just like doing that Dukes of Hazzard
It's
thing.
more convenient, to be honest with you.
Sure enough.
And,
Oh, man.
Nobody else is coming and going, and if they try to, they won't block us in.
Right. So last week, we didn't have our podcast on Thursday because you went deer hunting.
I did.
Tell us about it.
Well, I didn't see anything.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. That's why they call it. You know, it's so odd.
Yeah.
Out there where I see this place where I hunted, I see it all the time during the week.
Yeah.
And all week long, I've been seeing
Just covered up with deer.
mass amounts of numbers
Yeah.
just everywhere. The night before I hunted, and then every night since then,
Yeah.
I ain't seen any deer at all.
Really?
No,
Really?
none.
Huh.
Not well. I lied. I don't want to say none.
Okay.
One. There's one doe, and I believe she's lost. I believe she didn't get the memo that, hey, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Because each night she comes out to the area where all these deer always come out and feed.
And looking around.
And she doesn't really even feed. She eats a couple bites, and literally a couple bites, and then she looks around, and then she runs off to another area that they frequent, and then another area that's across the property.
Oh, no.
And then she comes back to the first area, and she's just kind of looking around, and then she wanders off.
Huh.
And she does that every night. It's the only deer I've seen all week long is that one. And
That's
it's the same
interesting.
deer because she's got a unique white spot on her
Yeah.
front of her chest. She's the same deer, so I know it is. But it's like she didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Everybody else moved on, and
Yep.
she overslept. Oh, man. What else we got?
I tell you what is the fastest known animal?
The cheetah.
You'd think that.
Yeah, I do think that.
You'd be so wrong.
Okay.
The fastest known animal is more than twice as fast as the cheetah.
Okay.
And I was like, whatever. This guy was explaining it on this video I'm watching. And he was
All right.
he's doing just like I'm doing, very evasive with the answer to the question. And then these other guys, there were 3 or 4 of them sitting around. They're like, no, I'd bet money on the cheetah. We all would, because we all saw
That's
it.
what we all been told.
We've all been told. Well, this actually is a bird.
Okay.
And it's the peregrine falcon. And 190 miles an hour is what that bird launches its attack at.
The peregrine falcon.
Yes, also known as a duck hawk. And they hunt birds. They hunt ducks and they hunt songbirds and stuff, and they'll get way up above. And when they launch their attack, they reach speeds up to 190 miles an hour.
That's insane.
It's insane because at 190 miles an hour, they can stop, turn, and attack.
Wow.
190 miles an hour.
Good Lord.
I thought
That's some G-force right
I
there.
thought, there's no way. That's just a lie. These people are, 95% of all statistics are made up.
On the
And
spot.
so I had to go look up the peregrine. And everything I just read is right exactly off of like a Wikipedia bird page. And they're 190 miles an hour. These guys on the video were saying 200. And they don't, according to the actual data, they clocked them at
190 mile an hour.
Attacking at 190.
So whatever they're attacking, doesn't it? They never even know they've been hit.
Never even know they've been hit.
That's crazy, man.
Never even know.
And to have the coordination to be able to snatch something out of the air at 100 mile an hour, 190 mile an hour.
That is
good Lord,
it, man. What is a cheetah? 75 or 78 mile an hour? It's something in
I don't even remember.
It's right in that area. And you think, that's the fastest critter. No, this thing goes by a cheetah like the cheetah standing still.
Wow.
Like he's backing up at 60.
Oh, man. What else you got in your notes there, old man?
Let's see here. Let's talk about that. I don't know enough about it to be intelligent.
Okay.
But this secret voting that the Senate done, Mitch McConnell is only allowed 3 different people to be
nominated
up for deal. And according to what I saw this morning, is the person that has been nominated is not a good pick.
Well, all right. So Cornyn and Tim Scott, not Tim Scott, the other Scott. Can't think. I'm tired. And then the one that was picked, I can't think of his name. He's from South Dakota. He's a senator from South Dakota. And he was asked in an interview if he was going to support Donald Trump if he's nominated. And his response was, I hope we have a different option. So that's why people say he's not a good pick.
Well, and I can't hold that against him. I can't.
No.
I can't.
But that's his anti-Trump that everyone's talking about.
If that's all anti-Trump he is.
Yeah. Now, having said that,
is he going to be open-minded enough to see when the proof is in the pudding?
Well, once he was nominated, he gave a speech. And he said, Donald Trump won with a mandate, and our job is to support his agenda and get it through.
Well, and we'll see.
So we'll see. Now, the good news is it's not a Democrat.
Yeah.
But look at Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan might as well have been a Democrat. He fought Donald Trump. He was the Speaker of the House during his first
and
fought him tooth and nail.
It didn't matter what it was.
Paul Ryan was the one that blocked the building of the wall, and Donald Trump had to find a end around by using the military budget because he declared it an emergency.
Yeah.
So I mean, not only was he fighting the Democrats, he was fighting Paul Ryan. So as long as this guy's not a Paul Ryan or a Liz Cheney, then I think we're going to be okay.
All right. Well, I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
One of the reasons why I'm not really super prepared today.
Okay.
I got all kinds of fun facts, whatever. I was watching Andrew Womack. He's a preacher, and he was preaching just, about preaching stuff. He's talking about the book of Hebrews, and it's really not got much to do with but always it's absolutely a good book. And he's doing it right now. He's doing a verse per verse study. And I just love those.
We did that.
You do a lot of verse per verse.
Well, I'm saying we did Hebrews.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I need to go back and listen to yours then.
Yeah, it was on Wednesday evenings.
Okay, but anyway,
right after
he pauses now and again in the middle of his preaching, not like you do, and talk about different things. And one of the things that he started talking about, and I was in that falling asleep mode, but it absolutely woke me up and resonated with my soul.
Yeah.
And he said, especially during this election and post-election and all the troubles he's seen, he kind of was talking about all these people that are just losing their mind because they're lost. We've got suicides. We've got murder-suicides.
I know.
It's awful. And he said,
they're up to 3,500, I think, suicides.
The last one that I read about
was insane.
Saddened me. A man shot his whole family.
Yeah, and then himself. Because he can't live in Trump's America.
Yeah. And but anyway,
how delusional.
He said, you gotta quit immersing yourself in all of this bad news.
Yeah.
He said, you watch video after video of the things that you don't like or that upset you.
Yeah.
He said that's what stirs in your soul.
That's going to have an effect on your soul.
And he said now your rest of your day is polluted.
Yeah.
And I sit up at night and watch sometimes hours of the same kind of videos.
Yeah.
And how damaging am I being to myself? So you know what I did last night? I watched
Puppies and Kittens.
First I watched a couple John Wayne movies.
There you go.
I was off last night, so I watched a couple John Wayne movies. And then when I did get watching social media videos, I watched Soldiers Coming Home.
Yeah.
I watched Puppies and Kittens.
There you go.
And I watched funny fails.
There you go.
I watched people trying to do tricks on skateboards and bicycles and stuff like that and fall.
Yeah.
And I laughed and cut it up and laughed. And I was this morning felt, I don't know, more energetic than I have in a lot of other mornings. And I think it's a direct result of what you put in your soul.
Agreed, 100%. What you consume is what you've got.
Yes.
And I agree with that. And, one of the things, one of the things we do on this podcast, and inadvertently sometimes we do kind of wander off into the negative. We spend a lot of time there. But
we always come back.
We always do. We always
take time to be kind.
That's right. And not only that, but another thing that we do is we focus on the positive. I mean, right now, dude, we are we're at a point we're at a point right now where this list that we just went through, these appointments, we're on the cusp of an exciting time, the rebuilding, the reclaiming of our nation, man.
Free
Because
America.
let's be honest, leading up to this election, you and I were doom and gloom.
Sure.
We number one,
Well, we could see
we
the
saw
writing
them
on the wall.
steal it in 2020.
And then do so much just outside the law with no repercussions, with no reins at all, just like craziness.
One guy said this. He said, "Don't think that just because Trump got elected, that winter's not still coming."
True.
The open border.
True. We still
known terrorists in our nation.
They're still trying
criminal gangs in our nation.
The Biden-Harris administration is still trying to be.
Here's what he said. He said, Donald Trump is not the end of the winter. He is a winter coat. And thank God for the coat.
Amen. Amen.
When stuff does pop off, I'm glad that it'll be him in the White House and not Kamala Harris.
You ain't kidding. One of the things that I see popping off, and this is just insane to me, is there's a lot of demonstrations going on. And they are demonstrations by the illegal migrants.
Yeah.
Demanding rights.
Right. Yeah.
They're having not peaceful demonstrations, which, I don't know, under the Constitution, I don't think illegal migrants fall in there.
Yeah.
But they're having violent demonstrations at some point. New York is really having a tough time with them right now. And they're raising Cain because they don't, where's my equal rights?
I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing about Eric Adams, the mayor of New York.
Oh, he's such a flip-flopper.
That dude, he's in such a bad position.
He's in a bad position.
He's in a bind.
But he put himself there.
Yeah, he did. He started out all sanctuary city.
Yeah,
we're giving out these.
We're going to throw this virtue.
Yeah.
Segment out there. We're better than y'all.
Giving out ATM cards and all this stuff.
Yeah, we're on $3,000 on your ATM card.
Now,
meanwhile, the homeless veteran gets nothing.
Well, now he shut those programs down, and someone in the news media put him on the spot and said she said. Are you still going to maintain the sanctuary city status? Now that Tom Holman and Donald Trump and they're, ICE is allowed to operate in New York City.
Yeah.
Are you going to still keep the New York police department, New York City, NYPD
from cooperating?
And he said, we're going to follow the law. And she says, well, how are you going to represent the New Yorkers? And he says, which New Yorkers?
That's
and she
right.
says, what do you mean? He said, well, some New Yorkers want us to be a sanctuary city. Other New Yorkers want the law to be followed. And he says, which New Yorkers' interest should I not support?
I seen him throw that back. He was good right there.
Yeah, he was.
He was good. Yeah,
but that was his excuse for flip-flopping. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I think he is going to do everything he can to support Donald Trump because he's in legal trouble and he knows this is the only guy that can help him.
That's it. He is in some legal trouble.
Yeah. That's funny stuff, man.
It's got nothing to do with none of that business, but just to move on to something different, they are going to auction off the ruby red slippers.
Really?
The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, my. Is Rachel Levine going to get them?
No, but if you try to fly... That other dude with the
bald head?
Yeah, the bald head, he's going to steal them out of your
luggage. That's
right. No, but they're estimated to go for upwards of $10 million.
Yeah.
That kind of money spent on stuff like that just makes my skin crawl.
Well, look at some of these baseball cards and stuff, man.
I know. It's just so ridiculous.
When you got that kind of money that you can just throw it out there like that.
I wished I had the kind of money that I could even involve myself in the auction that would go up to $10 million.
Right.
Because, man, I would be out there trying to rebuild people's homes.
Yeah.
In my little community.
Yeah.
I'd go over into the poor sections and see what I could do for Christmas.
Right.
I would
put a new roof on a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a house that on my way to your old house, there was a house that he's got nothing but tarps all across his whole house.
Yeah.
And it would probably cost about $5,000 in materials to put a roof on that house.
Yeah.
Probably that much again in labor.
Yeah.
And disposal and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, that's 1%.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
dropping a bucket.
Yeah, just to have that kind of money
Yeah.
and choose to spend it this way.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
I know.
I don't know. It's not my money. It's not my business.
No.
I didn't earn it.
It's waste.
I didn't help you earn it. I didn't have anything to do with it, and I don't have a bean in the pot.
Right.
But I see that stuff and think, wow, how much could you help?
Yeah.
And still being $10 million.
Yeah. For a pair of shoes. Used shoes, man. Used shoes.
Used. That you never are going to wear ever.
No.
Nobody ever is for any reason.
No, they're going to go behind glass and sit in somebody's room
and
in your office or something.
When somebody comes over, they're going to say, "Look what I got."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's grand. I don't know.
I know.
Did we talk about the show Wicked last week?
We did not.
There's a movie, and it's put out by Disney.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's called Wicked.
Yeah.
It's got something to do with the Dorothy slippers. It's like
really?
a Wizard of Oz kind of thing, a Wicked Witch, and the Wicked Witch teams up with the Good Witch. I've seen a few of the trailers. I don't really know the whole premise, but my deal is, with all these movies that come out, the Spider-Man movie, there's a new Spider-Man action figure.
Yeah.
With the Avengers movie, there's all the Avengers.
Right.
Well, this has got the merchandise, the swag, the merch, whatever. And it's all, geared towards children.
Yeah.
And Mattel has put out the Wicked dolls. And just the name of it.
I know it.
The name of it. And then, Wicked store Target is carrying it, which that doesn't surprise me. But if you get one of these Wicked dolls, and you guys watching this, if you bought your child, grandchild, or whoever a Wicked doll, you need to check it, double check it, triple check it. On the box, there's a URL code that you can scan and send you to the Wicked website. It's a pornographic site.
What?
It's pornographic. It is not kind of pornographic. It's extremely pornographic.
Really?
And it sends that child who has a phone, 99% of them now have a phone. And when they scan that sitting in their room, because they've opened it on Christmas, they're like, oh my God, I wanted it so bad. Now they're going to go look at all the stuff that goes with it.
Have you verified this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They came out on a news report apologizing for it and said, please be careful, double check. This was an oversight on our part.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Your product development did that on purpose.
Yeah.
You are trying to indoctrinate our children in more evil. Targeted and marketed to children.
Yep.
That's criminal.
Tom Holman, one of the things that he said is going to be a priority, he said, we're going to find those 300,000 missing children from the border.
I'm telling you, dude, I would follow that man to the ends of the earth.
I'm telling you.
I would. If they called and said, hey, Lord, we need your help.
And
the government needs your help, and you're going to be under Mr. Holman. I'm on my way, dude.
Yeah. And he didn't say we're going to look for them. He said we're going to find them.
And he is such a determined figure. He's going to find them.
Yeah.
That's kind of
another thing he said in that interview that really struck me. He said there are known terrorists in the United States of America that are under observation by our government.
Yeah.
And Sean Hannity said, well, if they're under observation, why don't you just grab them?
Yeah.
And he's because of the administration that we're under.
That's it.
It's because of the Biden administration. But he said, we're being very careful, keep tracks of them. And he said, as soon as Mr. Trump is sworn in, we'll go get him.
Have you heard anything about the green energy, Green New Deal, or anything?
Oh, yeah. Donald Trump is getting ready to just trash all of that.
Good.
And the UAW and all these auto worker organizations, they're just so happy with that.
I'm glad.
Did you know that Ford? Ford was required. I don't even know how this happens. I don't know how this is possible. But they were required to transition into electric vehicles. You know that, right?
I did not know they were required.
Oh,
they did.
No, it was a federal mandate. And they lost over $4 billion in 1 year.
How can that be?
I know. How can the government tell you what to manufacture?
Yeah.
Because there's certain standards, the EPA standards. You have a certain percentage of your end product has to be carbon neutral or whatever the case is. And so in order to meet that standard, they had to convert
You know-
a certain amount of their production to EVs.
That stuff makes me sick. You know what I mean? You know where we're getting all this stuff to build EVs?
Yes.
Okay.
Slave labor in China and Africa, these little 8-year-old children.
Slave labor.
Yeah.
And the death rate is tremendous out there
Mhm.
on these slave labor camps.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
No.
Nobody cares. You know what the iPhone 14 costs to make in China?
I don't.
In American dollars.
I don't.
You know what it costs to buy in America?
Well, yeah.
Around $1,200-$1,300.
Yeah.
In China, to make it in American dollars, 10.
10. Nice.
10 American dollars. 10 American dollars is what it costs to make the iPhone 14. And that's not me just saying this. I have looked this up.
Right.
And it costs $10.
Now we're up to the 16.
Yeah. For the 14, to make the 14 was $10.
Yeah.
$10. And they sold it here in the United States and everywhere else for $1,500.
Yeah.
And that's just, You want to talk about these liberals that want to cancel Dr. Seuss and everybody else for whatever, tear down statues of our heroes of America.
Yeah.
And while they're doing it, they're talking on their iPhone 14.
Yeah.
That was built by slave labor.
Yeah.
And got a whole whopping $10 for their trolls.
Right.
It just, I don't know.
All right, old man, give us your tagline.
All right. Take time to be nice to somebody.
What?
Today, to be kind. I'm going to say, I'm getting there, but take time to be nice to somebody. Be nice to somebody today. Say hi. Ask somebody how they're doing.
Y'all tear him up in the comments. You're not allowed to change the tagline midstream.
I can get there at the end. I can roll it around and get there. Dude, let's roll something around for just, that made me think of something.
All right, come on with it.
I was watching a congressional hearing a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
Before I put myself on a little bit of a diet of them. And they were asking one of the people in charge of like EPA or whatever, they were asking the simple question of, is it the American people's right to know how you're spending taxpayer dollars? I'll ask you that question.
Yes.
You didn't have to think about it?
No.
I'm going to say 8 or 10 minutes. Now, I'd have to look at the video and see how long it was. But for 8 or 10 minutes, this guy did not answer that question.
Thank you, Congressman, for the question.
He said, I can answer any question you got. And he said, I want to know, is it okay for the American people to know where their money's being spent? Can you be transparent and show where these dollars are being spent? He said, I can tell you about all of our programs we have to offer.
Yeah.
I'm not asking that.
All right.
I'm asking this. And he went on and on and on.
Asking for an accounting.
He never would. And finally, the congressman said, yeah, all right, well, I'm going to put on the record that you just refused to answer that question.
Yeah.
I want to see that stuff change so bad.
Oh, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is going to get into the balance sheets of these organizations.
So bad, just say yes or no. I guess kind of like I should have just said, take time to be kind. Just say yes or no. Quit hammering around.
I know it.
The reason you don't want to answer a question because the answer is not good for you.
Right. Exactly.
It's pretty obvious, man.
Yep.
And he said we asked for letters a year ago. He said 2 days ago you finally responded because you were coming here.
Yeah.
But with nothing that we asked for in the letter.
Right.
Nothing at all.
See, a lot of that's going to change, man.
Oh,
a lot of that's going to change.
I am so excited about that part. I am.
Tom Holman talked about something else. I know we're getting a little longer, but that's okay.
We're running the show.
Because the reason I bring this up is because it comes back to what you were just talking about. Tom Holman was talking about a phenomenon that we're already seeing. And this is illegal aliens that are self-deporting.
You know why?
They're leaving on their own.
Why?
Well, because they don't want to get rounded up and they don't want to catch the charge.
It's not just that. Some of these states are already stopping resources.
Yeah. Well,
the free rides are coming to an end. And these people are seeing that the smart ones are saying, I better go while I still got American money in my pocket.
Yep. Well, here's what Tom Holman said, and I thought that this showed a different side of him. Tom Holman said, I want them to self-deport for this reason. Here's why. He says, because if we catch them and deport them, then they're barred. They can't come back to this country for 20 years. But if they self-deport, they can get in line and do it legally and come here legally.
Sure.
And so he showed a little bit of kindness there.
Well, and man, I am all for immigration.
And the reason I bring this up, yeah, me too.
I
Legal immigration.
I think it's a huge part of our nation.
Well, we're all immigrants.
That's right.
But here's why I bring this up and why I find this interesting. Just as the phenomenon is where some illegal aliens are self-deporting, I wonder how many government employees are going to start looking for work right now and self-deport.
If they were smart, they would.
Yeah.
If me and you were in a job in the government and we knew that all we did was sit around and play Pokemon for 8 hours a day and go to lunch, we'd be like, hey, dude, we're on the short
the gravy train is coming to an end.
We better find us a job. And we would take steps.
Yeah.
Because we actually, we know we have to maintain jobs. We
Absolutely.
have to make a living. And we would take steps on our own.
Right.
To move on.
And I wonder if we're not going to see that.
I bet we
mass departure of federal employees.
But I bet you there's more than is going to try to hang
on
the last dripping, to the last bread crumb.
Especially those that are established in that deep state.
Yes.
They're going to fight tooth and nail.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love you guys.
Take time to be kind. It is cheap. It's free. It doesn't cost you any money.
That's right.
To be nice. Say hi to somebody. Ask somebody how their day is.
Absolutely.
When you check out at the grocery store, ask that lady how she's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you would. Help get these videos out there to other folks if we're a blessing. If not, then find something else to watch. There you go. Love you guys. Lord willing, we'll see y'all next Thursday.
Donald Trump will not become president.
He's not going to be president. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
All right.
I think if he becomes the president here, make it great, because the States is already great.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
On that note, Tom, pleasure.
Take it
Thank
from
you
me.
very
How
much.
about that?
Cheers, Tom. Thank you.
And then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
And we better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket next.
I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on.
Sorry to laugh.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump.
And so, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy. All, let's say, cow poo-poo aside, there is zero chance we'll be seeing you being sworn in on the Capitol steps with your hand on a giant golden Bible.
I'll make a prediction, though, for you. And I don't really get into predictions much, but this one I'll go way out on a limb. Donald Trump will never, ever be president of the United States. That Trump should not be in this race. He's an absurdity. He is a travesty.
Donald Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
Donald Trump is a here today, gone tomorrow candidate for president of the United States. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Ever respectful of the fact that the people have not voted, he's not going to be president of the United States.
Let's be clear. Donald Trump will lose the election.
I mean, he had a really good chance to be different and really have a chance to change things, but he doesn't do the work. He's lazy.
We talk about him every day, and we continuously bashing him.
He's not going to be the president. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
And we're coming to a point where if you're Hillary Clinton, you're honestly probably starting to think about not just whether you will win, but how big your win will be. And then you say that Donald Trump has the best day in the entire world, completely outperforms expectations, and he wins all of the toss-up states. He wins all 5 of those states, plus that electoral college vote in Maine that he's after. If he wins all of the toss-ups, which would be insane because nobody wins all of the toss-up states, even if Donald Trump did win all of the toss-up states, he would still lose.
To be a wake-up call to the Republican Party. Despite Boris thinking that Donald Trump could win New York, like this, the presidential race is over.
Could I just cut through? I have one thing to say, one thing only, and that is that this race is over. Tomorrow morning, the money will dry up. The Republicans will start to hide. Trump has no place to go. This race, effectively, as of tonight, is no longer a presidential race.